Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Counter with the Food Czar, which is me, Heidi Blum. And today I am sitting with Chef Matthew Chappina of Perla Oyster Bar in Maplewood, New Jersey. Okay, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
You're like, okay.
This is amazing.
This is amazing.
We're finally doing it.
We're finally doing it. We've been talking about this. So I'm going to call you Matt.
Okay.
I have a son, Matthew, and I feel like you're a little more grown up than he is. So so Chef Matt.
Chef Matt.
Which is, there's another Chef Matt in this culinary corner in Maplewood.
Right next door.
But right now our focus is on you, Perla Oyster Bar, Chef Matt. Right. So Matt, let's tell the people a little bit about Perla Oyster Bar.
Okay.
And then we're going to kick it back and find out how you actually got to this location.
Okay.
Okay. So
how far back do you want me to go? Like the beginning of the business?
I'm going to guide you.
Okay.
How's
me.
that?
Let's do it.
So
I'm in your hands.
You're in my hands. That's it. You got to trust.
I trust.
Okay. So for those that don't know and are listening, Perla Oyster Bar is in Maplewood. It is on what I call the culinary corner. It is next to Porta Rosa Pasta. It is next to Wheelhouse Cheese Shop. And on the corner from that is Corner Slice. It is an amazing experience if you come down here. It's one of my favorite places to come in Maplewood. I know you from when you first opened, but also in my mind, you had a pop-up, the cutest little oyster truck that was a pop-up. And your focus then was really oysters, but here at Perla Oyster Bar, it is not just about the oysters, correct?
That's correct.
So let's talk about,
So
let's go back to your background.
Okay.
Where did you grow up? What is your background in culinary? Like, how did you get here?
So when I was growing up in Long Island, I became interested in food when I was like probably at 16 or 17 years old. Some of my early jobs were in food. I was a short order cook. When I was like 15 or 16, worked at some pizza, worked delis, things like that. I kind of thought I would go to culinary school, like right out of high school.
Yeah.
By the time I got to approaching graduation.
Wait, where did you say you grew up?
In Long Island.
Oh, where in Long Island?
Massapequa.
Oh, okay, that's important in Massapequa.
Is it important?
I mean, we all know Massapequa.
I guess so. It's pretty well
like
known.
Billy Joel land.
Yeah, he's like North Shore, I think, but whatever. The Baldwins are from Massapequa.
Yes, of course.
Jerry Seinfeld lived there. There's a couple other, some gangsters, and it's a really interesting place. All my family's still out there. Anyway, so growing up there, I became interested in food. Wasn't sure what I wanted to do when I was approaching graduation.
Right.
Ended up not going to college at all for a while.
Yeah.
Just worked, and not even in food. I had just other jobs that were unrelated. I was trying to sort out what I wanted to do with my life. I got interested in like the arts, like writing, filmmaking, theater, that kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
So I ended up going to school for that. So I have several degrees related to creative writing and theater.
When you say schools, what was that? Was that college? Was it?
Yeah, college. So I went to community college first because I wasn't sure exactly the direction I was going in. I made so much money when I was just working. I just showed up and paid for it in cash.
It's amazing.
And I had a technical theater degree. And then I became an English major for a minute, which wasn't really fun. Went back into just creative writing, have a BA in creative writing from the New School.
Wow.
And then I went into, I went more and more into theater out of the New School, and I have a master's in playwriting from Columbia.
Wow. Were you acting too, or you were just?
Not really. No, I mean, you kind of do a little bit of that.
Just to sort of sort out the scripts and stuff like that.
It's a collaborative process sometimes, but it was more writing, directing.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought I would go into theater or film.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm in my mid-20s. I'm living in New York City. I was engaged, then got married. And kind of at a point, again, like I didn't really know what I wanted to do. My original love really was food, right? So I'm in New York City and needed a job. So I just kind of got back into pursuing that passion. Found line cooking jobs, catering stuff, just working my way up.
And just learning as you,
I got really lucky where I ended up working, I saw an ad for a line cook position at a really new Mexican taqueria kind of place in Red Hook in Brooklyn. I was living in Brooklyn at the time. And I went over there and I introduced myself. I brought my resume, which was not long. And I got the job. And it was a place called Calexico. They had just opened up their first location. They started as food trucks. So this was their first brick and mortar. It was open, I think, for like a month when I walked in.
Yeah.
Coincidentally,
Hold on. I was just going to say, I was just going to say, if I'm not mistaken, from his podcast interview, when he was opening up a truck, you were at a truck, or was it the same truck?
No, so Mike at Corner Slice was already with Calexico, probably.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Probably for like at some point earlier that year, maybe a little bit longer. And at that point, I think he was working more inside the store.
Yeah.
Where I ended up working. So me and Mike worked
so
there like 16, 17 years ago.
That's
wild.
Like wild.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Now we own businesses that are 2 doors down from each other.
It's so crazy. Yeah.
And so I don't want to jump around too much, but so I ended up working there, and I ended up making that place my home for like 10 years. So as they were growing and expanding, I kind of put my hand up. I was like, I want to do more.
Yeah.
And I just proved that I was dedicated and a hardworking person and intelligent enough. And so they gave me opportunities. So as the company grew and we kept opening up more stores, I would go there and open them. And eventually they got to the point where they were going to franchise, and they were opening multiple locations, lots of carts, a kiosk in the Barclays Center. I ended up having a corporate level job basically with them.
Wow.
So I was the culinary director for the company.
That's amazing.
And trained all the managers, trained all the franchisee people, opened up a store in Detroit.
Oh my God.
Opened one in Bahrain.
Are they still around?
Some of them are, some of them aren't.
Yeah, of course.
This is a long time ago, and the way things go and the cycle of things.
Of course, yeah.
I think several of the locations are still open. But anyway, so that was that's honestly like the bulk of my professional career. In my late 20s, early 30s.
Right.
Just learned a lot about. Listen, you're working in New York City. It's intense. They were really busy places. Just lots of factors that get thrown at you all the time, and you have to just constantly learn how to, think on your feet and be really creative. And if you can survive that, you have, you get a thick skin and you have a lot of experience. At some point when I was there, I started to get the bug to want to have my own business.
Okay.
So,
which is so brave and risky. I'm just saying.
Yes, it was. I tried to minimize the risk where. I wanted to open up a sandwich shop. And so living in Brooklyn, in New York City at the time, the Brooklyn Flea and Smorgasburg were really popular.
Yes.
So I conceptualized this concept called Heroes and Villains, and it was a sandwich concept.
That's a great name.
And so I met with the people that ran the Brooklyn Flea. I pitched them. You bring them samples of food, you tell them about your concept, and they accepted me.
Wow.
So I would work my regular job, and then on the weekends I would do like Smorgasburg and the Brooklyn Flea on the waterfront in Brooklyn, just to road test the idea.
Sure.
So it was do you know what Brooklyn? You know what those are? Those food festivals?
I know Smorgasburg. Yeah. I don't know the Flea, but I'm sure they're like the same kind of concept.
Yeah, they're owned by the same entity. I know they're still around. I haven't been to them in years, but at the peak at that time, this is like 2011, 2012, 13. That was like peak Smorgasburg.
Yeah, I remember everyone was going for specific items. Yeah.
You would have there
was a ramen thing that people were going for.
Yeah, the ramen burger.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah. But it was over 100 vendors, and on the busiest days there would be 30,000 people would pass.
Oh my God.
So if you capture just a little bit of that, you did okay.
Yeah.
But like,
what were the sandwiches you were making?
They were eclectic. They were a lot of I focused primarily fried chicken and like burgers, things like that.
Yeah.
But
you were ahead of your time, by the way.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't know. But so the idea was to road test that concept at Smorgasburg and see if it had legs and what it could be.
Yeah.
So while I was doing that, I saw the opportunity pop up one day again, like in a magazine or something. The Essex Market was going to move to a new location. They were building a new development on the Lower East Side called Essex Crossing and the Essex Market, which is one of the oldest indoor markets in New York City.
Yeah.
Which had been in that location for like 80 years.
Oh my God.
They were going to relocate across the street, and they were going to expand their footprint inside. All the old vendors were going to come over. There was room for a few new vendors.
So sort of like a Chelsea
hall.
market. Yeah,
Yep.
food hall. Thank you.
It's subsidized by New York City, so why that's really important and good is that the rents are much lower.
Sure.
So the risk is much lower. There's a lot more help from the city.
Yeah.
So I went. It's kind of like with the Smorgasburg. I went there and I had a deck and I pitched them my idea, my concept, and I got accepted.
Wow.
So, so here I was now. I had this opportunity to actually go like open a business.
Yeah.
So I had to make the choice to leave my job, which I was at that point, honestly, was doing really well. Like it was I'd grown into a position in the company, which was like pretty significant and important. So the choice to leave that, to go open up something really risky. But I felt like my calling was to just, to operate a business and have control over, my own food and all that. So I did that. I went to them. Told them I was going to leave. And I went. So then in May of 2019, we were supposed to open much earlier, kept getting pushed back. So we opened in May of 2019. So barely 7 or 8 months into it, COVID happened.
I was just gonna. It's like with every interview that I do, it's always like in 2019,
Yep.
and then you're like, wah, wah, wah.
Yeah. If you've been around that long, like since then, and went through that, you're gonna have a COVID story.
Yep.
So we opened, kind of like opened with a big splash, and then it was going along and trying to find your footing, and then COVID happened. So like everybody else, and it was like March, whatever the date was, the whole world stopped.
Yep.
And so we shut down. We shut down for the better part of 3 months. When it reopened, that whole area was just not the same. Like that development I just described was built specifically to have I don't even remember how many hundreds of thousands of square feet of office space and rentals and condos, and it's a whole mixed use, 8 buildings. Before COVID happened, I don't even think half of it was even occupied because they had still projected how many years, and that was what the goal was. Like, okay, we're gonna have like this little massive captured audience. So that never filled in. So when we opened with like incredibly limited hours, incredibly limited menu, and just limped along for like the rest of that year.
Wow.
And then was like, we got to shut this down. So then had to close it, which was like, that was just a massive blow. Here I was like, took this opportunity, opened a business.
Yeah.
Big risk. And now at that point,
and sort of getting traction too on it.
And getting traction. Yeah. And, developing definitely was developing a customer base and being really creative, in my own way. And right before I had opened that, we had moved to New Jersey. So, I just bought a house in New Jersey and I was commuting, but now I wasn't commuting anymore. So
was there a reason you came to New Jersey? I mean,
we were in a really small apartment, 2 kids. They were in public school. We were in Ditmas Park.
Yeah.
Really small 2-bedroom. And just the walls were closing in. And also a lot of our other friends were starting to leave.
And come to New Jersey too. Yeah.
So, growing up in New York and Long Island, I never would have imagined I'd live in New Jersey.
That's why I'm asking.
Still kind of don't think. I still can't believe it.
Yeah.
In some ways, but I never knew that a place like Maplewood, South Orange, like this area, even existed. I have family in Jersey, and that Jersey is like a little different. It's a little bit more like just like kind of the normal Jersey, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know what this town was, and then we came here on a whim. Drove around. Okay. And we owned a condo in Brooklyn, which we're really lucky. So we were able to sell that and move here. So anyway, so cut back to that. So like now I closed my business and I'm in town. I was really burnt out with food. Honestly.
I'm sure.
I was like, I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
It's sort of, especially when you go through what you went through, probably like it sort of bites you in the ass a little bit.
Oh, totally. It was really, it was a huge, blow in so many different ways.
Yeah.
So now I'm just kicking around. I don't know what I want to take a little bit of a break with from food. I didn't know I was going to go back. I had a lot of equipment left over, sold it all off, but like what happens is, if when you're passionate about something and you're laying there in bed and it's 3 a.m. and you're staring at the ceiling and your wheels are spinning, you start thinking about ideas and thinking about what you want to do. And you start having, once you land on an idea, you can't shake it, right?
Totally.
So, so after a little bit of time of just sort of licking my wounds and just, not sure where to go, when I knew that when we moved here, we saw a big hole in the market for just interesting food, interesting ideas, interesting concepts. I was very fortunate, grateful to have fallen in with a like-minded crowd of people.
Yeah.
This is an area that's really close to New York City, as you know. It's like a 30 to 40-minute train ride. So it's a big area for people who, just like us, who are going to leave the city for more space, a little bit quieter, a little cleaner, raise a family. So I fell in. I just became friendly with like a really great group of people in town here who were just like me, similar age range, who all were like bemoaning the lack of like interesting food in their town because they all lived in Brooklyn, they all lived in Manhattan, and they were really used to like great bars and great restaurants and things like that. So that was always sort of like a thing that was out there.
Like we have, let's like dive into that just for a second. And we were talking about this before the interview. There's pizza places and there's Italian place. Like we all know, like everyone sort of, because of what's offered here, there's 900 million. I'm giving, that's not a real number. Let's be honest. Of Italian restaurants that people go to, and there's also American food.
Yep.
But you're correct. There's definitely a hole for a lot of different cuisines.
Yeah, I didn't. Sorry, 1 second.
No, it's okay.
Water here. At that time, that was sorry. At that time, it was just the idea that we needed more.
Yes.
Here. Whatever that meant, it was just more.
Yeah.
It needed to be like interesting and more stuff. So that was like, when I first moved here, I was still at Colexco, and then I opened up my other business. So a couple of years had gone by at this point. So now back to where I'm just like, my wheels are turning and I'm not doing anything. That idea of more here was like eating away at me.
Sure.
Which is kind of how I arrived at Perla in the first place. I was kind of inspired a little bit by Matt, because during COVID, Matt was doing Porta Rosa by delivery only.
Right.
And he's someone who I became friendly with in town through friends. And I'm like, oh, he's doing like this small thing by himself, basically, and he's doing a delivery business. I'm like, well, what could I do that's kind of like that?
Yeah.
So while I was just home, really not working, just started to work on concepts on paper. And of course, fell back on like all my old, like, the familiar stuff.
The sandwiches,
whatever that was.
Yeah.
I needed to check off several boxes in order for it to actually feel like it was going to be a thing that I could pursue, which was, one, I wanted to be able to do it alone.
Yep.
One, I wanted to be able to operate it out of my house.
Yep.
Which is like, maybe I shouldn't be saying that publicly, but like, that's just the truth.
And by the way, back then, anything goes. No one's coming after you.
And and then the other thing was need to have a pretty high return on the investment.
Yeah.
So any of the concepts that I was sketching out on paper,
and you needed to be happy doing it.
And I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be passionate about what I was doing, and I guess also for it to be like unique enough where what's going to make my sandwiches better than the other guys, right?
Yeah.
Or my burritos better.
Especially out in the suburbs, like there's a bagel place, there's a Jersey Mike's, whatever.
Who's gonna, why are they gonna come to me? Right?
Yeah.
So now I started to like work on that idea, and coincidentally, again, back to some of these friends, we wanted to throw a little party, and I was going to host it at my house, and it was going to focus on oysters.
Okay.
This is way before I had the idea to have a business that
is oyster based.
Right. So I had a chef friend at the time who was still in the city, and we were able to get wholesale product.
Had you ever worked with oysters?
I never worked with them really, like a few times with specials, but I never really worked with seafood.
Were you an oyster?
Fish tacos.
Did you like oysters?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
And before I started my business, I would say I probably opened in my life maybe 100 or 2.
I mean, shucked them.
Shucked them.
Yeah.
Shucked the oysters. Yes. Yeah. I had only shucked maybe 100, 200
Oh, wow.
max,
Okay.
you know, because we would have them at family parties sometimes
Yeah.
or whatever. So it wasn't really a focus of mine or honestly much of an interest other than I really loved them. And I knew that they were special.
Hold on, you can move this.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And you know, like, and people that love them,
Yeah.
like are going to die on that hill. Right?
Yes.
So we decided to have this party. We got some wholesale oysters through my friend. Everyone had to come and shuck their own, which was really fun.
I was gonna say, shuck your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone paid in, you know, everyone threw in like $20. And so you got yourself like a dozen and a half. And we set up in my driveway, and it was kind of like a potluck. People brought out the food.
Yeah.
It was wine and beer on the table. And we stood around in my driveway and opened oysters, and it was awesome.
That's amazing.
The weather was beautiful. Maybe about, I don't know, 20, 25 people were there. Really small.
That's amazing.
So that was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I started to think of the idea where maybe there's like a roving sort of block party thing, because it's still COVID was lingering.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, you know, people would hire you where you came with like a really specialized food or foods.
Yeah.
Maybe bring some booze that they provided themselves, maybe a musical component, and you sort of like curate someone's block party for them. That was kind of like what the original idea was.
I mean, I would have hired you. That's so fun. Yeah.
Yeah, especially in the suburbs. And
Yes.
it just felt like I live on a dead end, so it kind of lent itself to that as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, it doesn't have to be on a dead end. It could be anywhere. So that was like, now I started to have that sort of germ of the idea, and the oysters seemed really interesting because everyone that was there was like so
Into it,
right?
Yeah.
All the people who didn't come to that one had all the FOMO. So right away, we started to plan the second one. The second one was like several months later, again at my house.
Yeah.
And there was like 120 people there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and we had like 1,000 oysters, and it was nuts. And at that point was when I was like, okay, this is the concept.
Yep.
Right? Because I was like, okay, again, if you love this, you're going crazy for it.
Totally.
And back to some of the criteria that I needed to make sure that I was going to be able to, you know, check off that this can be a thing was with the catering was like it had to be really niche and easy to execute.
Yep.
With a high return on the investment.
Yep.
And I didn't want it to be the kind of catering where if you call me up, you're going to start, we're going to negotiate over a different kind of menu. And it's
Yep.
this long thing, like a book of different menu
They're
items,
hiring
stuff like
you for this type of.
if you want this is what it's going to be. So I knew I needed a vehicle. I needed a name, the branding, because the vehicle was going to be the store.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, this is now my
love that.
version of delivering around town.
Yeah.
I'll make it into it'll be a private events company. Originally, pop-ups weren't even part of it because I had done the Smorgasburg thing.
Yeah.
And I knew like all the risks with doing unknown events.
Yeah.
You know, show up, the weather, you don't know how many people are going to show up, you don't know how much to bring.
Yeah. Like,
kind
what
of
if it rained?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I wanted it to be
Well, what if it rained?
I wanted it to be a private party event. So
Okay.
you're going to hire me. Well, if it rained, I can go inside with a table.
Okay.
But
yeah.
But I wanted it to be almost exclusively private events.
Yep.
And whatever that could be, like birthdays, weddings, funerals, whatever it could be, and or just for the sake of having a party.
Yeah.
Right? So then now my homework was like, okay, I need to find a vehicle, I need to find the branding and all that kind of thing. So, you know, without getting into too much of that detail, like I started to sort all that out. I figured out what kind of vehicle to get. I was able to get one. I had a guy come and hand like all the branding on the truck is all hand painted by this really great artist in Brooklyn.
How did you come up with the name Perla?
Well, it just means pearl in Latin.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's really simple.
Yeah.
I just like the idea of names being really easily identifiable.
Sure.
Like shorter the better.
Yep. Clean. It's like a
Just
clean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Clean. Something that you can just quickly
Rolls off your tongue.
identify
Yeah.
and remember. versus like, using like my last name or something like that, where it just becomes like, it leaves the person thinking too much about it. You don't want to think too much about, I think, a name. So that's kind of how I came up with the name.
Yeah.
And then just, this guy helped me figure out the branding. We painted on the truck, and then I was ready to go.
Talk about the truck, because the truck is truck is so cool.
Yeah, so it's a 1998 Mitsubishi Mini truck. It's a K car.
But it looks like it's like
a toy. It's like a roller skate.
Yeah.
It seats two people. The steering wheel is on the right. It's from Japan. So
is it really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah. I wish I had it here. We can go for a ride.
Yeah. That would be fun.
It's this weather. I don't take it out in this weather because it barely. It's like driving a refrigerator in this weather.
Oh my God.
Barely has heat. It was just I needed a truck that was identifiable.
Yep.
Unique looking. And really just like a table on wheels, though. Like I didn't want to have a food truck that was actually like a refrigerated truck with a generator and all that kind of thing. This was more just like a store front and a means to transport my goods wherever. And it being a pickup truck.
Yeah.
And also the sides fold down if I need it to be.
Oh, really?
I use it like a table.
That's awesome.
So I can just fit it out with like a big basin or a tub and my coolers, and I just work out of there.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. So I went live September 3rd, 2023.
Wow.
I didn't know what to expect. It was at Porch Fest. It was Matt's band was playing in front of his house. I asked those guys if they wouldn't
I didn't even know Matt played an instrument.
Yeah,
he plays guitar. He's got to play guitar. He looks like it. Yeah. I mean, come on.
The Rights of Springfield's local dad band. So they were playing in Matt's driveway. And I asked him like, hey, I'm kind of ready to go.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. Can I just park in front of your house and shuck oysters during this thing? Because we knew there would be a captured audience because Porch Fest is like a pretty important thing in town. And they were all like, it's cool with us. So I parked it there. It was hot as hell that day. They gave me an umbrella. I brought 200 oysters with me. I had actually some things that are on my menu today. The anchovy toast I had, slightly different version of it, but had that. I had the anchovy skewers as well. I made some drinks. And I don't know, like in 2 hours, I was sold out.
Oh my God.
And no one knew I was going to be there.
That's insane.
And so that was like a real validating moment.
Totally.
Kind of like a turning point of this whole process of, like, I don't even know what this concept is and what it could be.
But you're in the right direction.
Yeah, to like, wow, this is like really interesting to people.
Yeah.
I am 100% certain if I was shucking oysters out of my minivan, I would not have sold out of 200 of them. I'm not the whole image and look and branding is not lost on me. Like I know it's a lot of it is about like the truck and stuff. Like, cut ahead a little bit to when I was actually up and going. Like there were some events where I was hired to be there and I wasn't able to bring my truck for various reasons, and I had people cancel it.
I mean, wow, first of all, but for those, who have never seen the truck, and I think you have a picture online actually of the truck.
It's all over. It's all on Instagram.
Yeah.
You scroll down a little bit because this is a while ago now.
Yeah, but the truck is super. I mean, it is just cool, and it sort of does set up like the vibe that you're giving out. I mean, that's
Well, there's something I always liked the juxtaposition of high and low.
Yeah.
So you have. Like I'm shucking oysters, which is like this exclusive sort of luxury item out of the back of an old pickup truck.
Totally.
Right? But like branded really cleanly.
But it feels beachy in a way, like a truck you would see at a. I don't know. There's just I've always been attracted to the truck. I think it's a very cool situation, and I remember seeing it. I think it was at Sunday Motor Co. or
So I can jump ahead a little bit to that. So like when I didn't want this to be a pop-up concept. I got busy right away with private events.
Yeah.
And I built the website really quickly, and I had the different packages you can get. But I realized that if I can connect with some local business owners and forge some friendships where we start becoming we start benefiting from each other.
Yep.
That'll just help to, grow the awareness. So I'm wearing Lums right now. Actually, I'm flying the flag here. So my buddy Jonathan, his wine shop, we became friendly really quickly. I would do events there. Sunday Motor Company too. Like Nick reached out to me, I think, or I reached out to him. But like they wanted to do pop-up events. That's where Buc-ee's comes into the play. Like
I
that's
remember
where
them being there too.
That's how I met them. Before they opened up their shop, they were doing events there as well. We would do them together. Pineapple Express, we just talked about it offline before. Damon, I just called Damon. I didn't know Damon. I didn't know him personally. I knew who he was. Like Damon's like he's a legendary guy.
Yep.
And I knew Pineapple Express, but I hit him up. Hey, you ever think about doing events? And we drove the truck inside Pineapple Express, which is really cool. You can see those pictures online somewhere. So I was so grateful for his support. And then Fred becomes like a really important person in the story of like all of our
Fred of Artie's, for those who don't know who Fred is. Yeah.
So Fred who operates Artie's. So he's our landlord here. He owns Artie's. I met him through Matt quickly when I started the truck, and I just cold pitched him also like, hey, can I come and park in front and do a thing like
at Artie's? When Artie's, okay.
Yeah, Artie's was already open, so they have a patio there.
Yeah.
And it's
which is actually calling for your truck. That's perfect.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So I went to him and just called him, so to speak, and pitched him the idea that I would come there and while people are waiting in the nice weather outside, like let's shuck oysters. And he didn't even think about it. Yeah. Yeah. Put his hand out. Let's do it. It was like, so I'm just in this place where I'm meeting all these amazing people who seem so supportive, or are supportive of what I'm doing and helping me really get going. And it was great. So that's how it all started. And I don't want to lose the thread with Artie's and with Fred, where the space that we're sitting in now, which is Perla Oyster Bar, the restaurant. Fred's my landlord. This was vacant. This was empty. He had vanilla boxed it. And also the space next door where Wheelhouse is was also vacant. He had cleaned up all these buildings. Matt was already operating Porta Rosa. Mike had signed his lease at Corner Slice, which is where the bread stand used to be. Yep. But he hadn't opened yet. But Mike and I had known each other forever, so I knew all about that and Matt. So I would be hanging out around here, like at Porta Rosa, maybe having lunch, and Mike would be around. And then those two guys started like egging me on, like, hey, you should open up an oyster bar. You should open up like a place. I didn't start the truck to actually have this. Right. I really didn't.
You just opened it up to check the boxes that you were talking about.
Yeah, because I wanted to keep something. I wanted to keep it really small and manageable. Basically, do it alone. I wasn't always alone. A good buddy of mine, Alon, a local guy, really fantastic friend. He would come and help me sometimes because he's like one of the only people that I knew who knew how to shuck oysters. Yeah. But he's like a gourmand, and he's really knowledgeable. He's a really smart guy, really great guy. He would come and help me sometimes on like bigger events, but generally like kind of operating like alone. Yeah. And I wanted it to be that way because I needed to fit into my lifestyle. Like I just didn't really want to be stuck in a restaurant. But anyway, so these guys
look at you now.
So those guys were like, "Oh, you got to open up a place. You got to open up a place." And again, laying there at 2 a.m, staring at the ceiling, you're like,
"Damn, Matt and Mike."
Can I curse on here? And I'm like, yes. There's motherfuckers, and I'm like, I can't stop thinking about this idea. Yeah. So I went to Fred. Like everybody wanted this space. People would pitch him ideas all the time. It wasn't leased, but everyone knew Fred owned it. Yep. And they would reach out to him. But I just went to him. I'm like, hey, man, I got this idea. We came here. We walked around. I told him the idea. Shook my hand, just like he did the patio thing. Yep. He was like, let's do it. That was it. So that was February of 24.
Yeah, so you've only been open.
So we opened in October of 24. Okay,
yeah, I was gonna say.
So it's been a year plus, like a year, and we're in February, so year and a couple of months. So we talked in that February. We signed the lease like April. Good buddy of mine, Attila. He's a friend and neighbor. He wanted to invest in something. We talked, brought him on as a partner. Yeah. And then we were off. Another good buddy of mine, Jamie, another local guy. Super talented, helped me build the place. We broke ground like June 3rd or 4th, something like that. And that whole summer, built the restaurant. Just the two of us by hand. We had a plumber come in, an electrician, because I know my limits. But I mean, I clearly don't know my limits because I never built a restaurant physically. I was very much involved in the build out of a lot of restaurants in the city with the Clexco. Yeah. In terms of like designing, particularly the kitchens. but never physically like built anything. I don't consider myself that handy of a person.
Yeah.
Jamie is very handy. Like this table is here. Jamie built these tables.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like this door was from my house. It's a 100-year-old door.
That's so funny. It's a door.
It's a door
that's
from,
awesome.
from my old house, and the window around the side. They were just in the rafters in the garage. I pulled them down. I wanted to build like a wall here.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah, and a lot of this stuff is either like Facebook Marketplace finds mixed with stuff that we built by hand. All the artwork and design is everything I did it all in terms of like curating everything and I wanted to feel at once comfortable and kind of homey and cozy, but also feel a little bit more refined.
I think so.
Kind of strike a balance.
I mean, for people who have never been here, it is it's a vibe in here. I mean, it is bright. I think when I first came in, I think I described it. It's like a little Hamptons-esque a little bit. It's got some type of like.
Well, you would come in during the day. At night, the lights come down real low. The music's really loud. We have candles on the tables.
But it's cool. It does not feel. You don't feel like you're in the suburbs of New Jersey.
Yeah. So back to that. So the idea to build this place, thinking about my friends who are all bemoaning the lack of interesting places. Places didn't feel familiar to their sensibilities, right?
Yeah.
Where there's plenty of places in the suburbs that are like born and bred in the suburbs that are great.
Yep.
Everything serves its purpose anyway. I'm not talking bad about anybody. Everyone deserves their spot,
room
right?
for
There's
everyone.
Right?
Yes, of course.
But like when you go to the suburbs, there is a general point of view, tone that you feel in a lot of places. I didn't when I decided to do this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to make a place that feels more at home in my sensibility, what I'm used to.
Yep.
Where I'm used to working, what I'm used to going to when I lived in the city, and that those people that were on my mind would feel at home in.
Yep.
And when you walk through the door, you're gonna go, oh wow, I feel like I'm in Brooklyn, or I feel like I'm in San Sebastian, because our menu reflects a lot of like tapas and pinchos and things like that, or a bistro in Paris. And so I wanted it to have that feel as a point of differentiation from pretty much anything else you're going to find around here.
And you achieved it, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Yeah, it was it took a lot of planning. It took, like I said, we signed the lease in April. We broke ground in June. That whole time was like, you're in here. If anyone doesn't know how you do it when you build a restaurant, you're in here every day with a giant stack of blue painter's tape, and you're just on the floor marking everything. You take cardboard or like long sheets of brown paper, and you measure, like 4 by 24, which is a refrigerator, and you lay it all out on the floor.
Yeah,
you kind of create like a living floor plan, right? Because it takes a lot of work to do that, to get it to where you need it to be, because you can only do so much on paper. You want to be able to stand there and really imagine. And when you have experience
and move around it.
Yeah, exactly. Your experience and stuff can kind of like, your sense memory of things really starts to kick in a little bit. Like, okay. And you start thinking about your influences. Oh, I remember this place that I went to here. Yeah, maybe we'll do it like that. That was kind of a cool thing. You start borrowing where you need to borrow in order to make it your own. So that was those couple of months leading up to actually like, breaking ground. But actually, when Jamie and I were in here, I had literally a drawing on paper without even like a ruler. It was like hand drawn pencil. And we're like, okay, where are we going to put the wall? And we're like, well, how about right there? And then we just started building it.
Wall here.
This whole thing has been a very organic evolution, where a tremendous amount of people helped me along the way. Like people I mentioned before, like Jonathan, Fred, and Damon, and all these people. And the friends and all the support, my family, who deserve more credit than I probably give them, all the goodwill. And then, and then once we opened in October, like October 13th, something like that, of that fall. And that was it. Now we're open.
And here we are. So let's talk about, so you open and how was the reception? How did you feel?
Great. Right from jump, it was super busy. Great response from people. Getting validated, like you had just said, how it, your impression and feel the vibe of it was exactly what we were hearing from people, which is really great. it's like if we were able to move around, and for people who haven't been here, now we'd be able to show like the kitchen is just open. I mean, kitchen's in quotes. There's no kitchen.
There's no kitchen. It's open and it's a bar. It's a bar right there. Yeah.
So I want to build a bar that felt like you were in somewhere across between like an oyster shack or a clam shack.
Yeah.
You'd find seaside somewhere with a wine bar or a tapas pinchos bar you'd find in Spain or like in Paris.
You describe it so well because that's exactly what it is.
Thank
I
you.
guess you should since you own it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess that means that we did it right.
Yes.
And we are doing it right. Yeah, the kitchen is a convection oven, a tiny little flat top griddle. That's all the hot elements.
Yeah.
Everything is that we have a well right in the window, so when you look in when it's actually set up for service, you feel like you're looking in like a fish market.
Yes.
So everything's all the shellfish and some other stuff is all iced down there. That's where the shucking happens, and that's all open. So the bar to the kitchen is all open. I love that. I love the experience of being right there with the customer.
Yeah.
So I'm always in the same spot. I'm plating, quote unquote, cooking all the time on the line while like expediting, managing, and also never ending conversations with the people who are right in front of me.
Yeah. Even as they're walking in, you can talk to them.
Yeah.
I have a question about the oysters.
Yep.
So, and we'll get to the menu, but the oysters, are you serving, I mean, you had to learn about oysters, obviously.
Yeah, I definitely, I had a very, very limited knowledge before I started the business. But you just learn on your feet. Like I think,
so like, do you get different oysters all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like if I didn't have to, if I could stand up now, I'd get you the list. We have a double-sided sheet where we constantly, we keep all the oysters and all the notes. That way, when they rotate back in, it's easy shorthand for the servers to be able to talk to the customers. Yeah. The guests, I should say. Let them know what the daily selections are. It changes multiple times over the course of the few days that we're open.
Yeah. And see, does it change seasonally too? Do oysters change seasonally?
Yeah, they do. They definitely, there's growing seasons. There's temperature affects sometimes how they're grown, where they're grown. There's a lot of myths about oysters, like don't eat them in the R months. That's not really true. It's only true.
The R months?
Yeah, like the summer. And that really goes back to, that's like 19th century where there was no refrigeration.
Oh,
so if you're shipping oysters in the summer.
Got it.
Right. It's where a lot of canning and pickling of oysters comes into, like in probably like the late 18th century into the 19th century, into the 20th century, where you can just ship oysters like to the middle of the country.
Have you gone to an oyster farm?
I have, yeah. Actually, this past summer, we went to one called Sweet Amalia down in Cape May. It was amazing.
It's got to be really cool.
Oh, it was so cool. It was on the Delaware Bay. Lisa, she's the farmer and the owner of it. It was amazing. We ate them right out of the water. You don't have to eat them right out of the water. They actually hibernate. They could actually mature a little bit while they sit in the shell a little bit. Yeah. Like in the refrigerator. Yeah, so you learn on the job, and the kind of person I am, just opening yourself up to, the exploration and the opportunities and all those things. Like you're going to just receive all that information and be able to, just internalize it and turn it into something. Yeah. So, like just always being open to trying a new one. Sometimes making a mistake. Like I've gotten them a couple of times where you open them and you realize like, oh, these aren't good, right? But you just learn, and then you learn which ones are the ones that you really like, the standards. We tend to have mostly or exclusively East Coast. A lot of that has to do with what's available from our vendors. Not that the vendors are doing anything wrong. It's just a matter of, I don't know if it's shipping or it's availability, whatever it is. But, when we're getting oysters from, whether they're from Jersey, Long Island, Massachusetts, Maine, Prince Edward Island, or New Brunswick, they're as fresh as possible. They're coming in. Like I was talking with one of my vendors before, and we were talking about the oysters that are going to come in for this week, and they're coming in literally like on Thursday when we open on Thursday.
That's amazing.
They're coming in from Canada that morning.
That's so cool.
So, that's how we handle it, and just do a really great job of shucking well, like where there's no grit in there. You actually are releasing the oyster from the shell, so when people are slurping them, they're going to come out. Presentation's a huge thing. It's a beautiful food on its own.
Yes.
But you can definitely mess it up. You can definitely present it improperly.
Yeah.
You know, oysters sometimes at the wrong place look like, you know, someone, you know, shot it with a shotgun. Like it's just all beat up looking. Yeah. You know, if you take that extra second and care to do it right, present it right on the platter. Yeah. It goes a long way because it's not an inexpensive food.
No, and you want people to feel that you care about it the way they're paying for the experience too. Yeah.
It's not just the food; it's all the experience that goes into it. And this whole place is an experience.
Correct.
Building this place the way that I did is that experience. So each thing has to complement the other thing. Right. The food on the plate complements the vibe and the feel you have here and the interaction you have with the service staff. Yes. And the music and the lighting and all those things.
It's all part of it. Yeah, for sure.
It's a lot of places miss the mark on is like forgetting one or two of those things. Like you can't just rely solely on good food. Yes. You can't only have good service. You can't only have whatever, trying as hard as you can to hit all those things. Yes. Should be the goal.
Yes. And especially in as we were talking about in this economy, people are spending their money to go out for dinner. Mm-hmm. They want to know that they are going to the right place and it's not, a quote unquote waste of a night for them when they're spending their money. So they want everything that you just mentioned. They want the service, they want the food, they want the vibe, they want to go home and be like, that was a great night.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't let anybody leave here feeling like they didn't have a good experience. Yeah. When we do actually make mistakes, that's when it really hurts.
Yeah. But you also learn from them too,
You do. You learn. You have to learn. Also, you try to ask people. You ask. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I think you're drifting away from me. I don't know.
Maybe it is me. We try as hard as we can to do everything right. Try to hit our marks all the time. Human beings run businesses. Sure.
Restaurants are people.
Yep.
Right. They're the people that run them. They're all those things that go into that. It's not just like an automated process.
Right.
So you sometimes have to ask the customer to have a little grace on their part too.
Yes.
To remember that, people dedicate a lot of time and energy, resources, all those things to making sure that this place can stay open.
Yep.
That this place can deliver on the promise that we have made to the customer. So just remember that in general, wherever you go and you're eating out somewhere, and people make mistakes.
Yes.
It takes sometimes way too much conversation on our part, like the ownership part, the operator's part, to remind people that.
Yeah.
Because no one would want anyone to go into their job. Right. And
right.
criticize
Exactly.
their job.
Yes. That's very true.
I think, restaurants, hospitality in general is a very easy target.
Yes.
It's low hanging fruit for people.
Yes.
To pick at and social media now more than ever.
And Google reviews and Yelp reviews and all of that, Resi reviews. People don't realize that if you're upset, come to the owner and not just slam on your keyboard.
Yeah. I would say mostly anyone who's going to go publicly say something negatively, they're really just doing it for themselves.
Yeah.
Right? They're doing it to assuage their ego and whatever wrong they feel. They're not really doing it because I don't know if that influences anyone really. I mean, you could pile on and you can really ruin reputation of a place.
Yes.
But one person's takeaway from something, if it's a little negative and nitpicky, is they're usually talking about themselves, not about the place.
Right.
Because you can't be held to task for things that you don't even do.
Yes.
I've seen reviews for places where they're taking points away for things that the place doesn't even have at all.
Right.
How could you criticize a restaurant because they don't even have that thing? That'd be saying I don't serve spaghetti and meatballs here.
Yeah, so why are you coming?
And you came in and you knocked a star off right away because I didn't have the thing that you thought you were going to eat when you walked in. It's really silly. Judge us on what we actually do, who we are, and remember that it's a big effort. It takes a big effort to do this, and it's people's livelihoods.
Yeah.
And now more than ever, how much people are struggling, the economy, how poor it is.
Yeah.
Whether you really feel it or not, it's a real thing. This current weather that we're experiencing in this part of the world,
Yep.
anyway, in New Jersey right
It's
now.
now February because this is probably going to drop in April. So,
Yeah.
January was brutal.
Yeah. January into February, we're still caked in like feet of now frozen snow.
And frozen temps.
And you can't I don't want to knock my town too hard, but like the plowing job in this town was done.
It was a little rough coming here.
Really poor.
Yeah.
You could barely park on our street over here.
Yes.
Parking's already kind of like a thing for people, like an issue.
Yes.
And now it's like, poor plowing job does not allow enough parking spaces. It gives people an excuse to just not go anywhere.
Yeah.
Not to go out.
So let's talk about the positives, or let's talk about the fact that you don't have spaghetti meatballs, but so for people who don't know the menu and are hearing just oysters,
Yep.
it is not just oysters. Yep. There is beautiful food coming out of this beautiful space.
Yep.
Right. So,
Yep.
for an example, there's shrimp dishes. There's, I think you mentioned, your anchovy toast?
Yeah. So
you have the trout spread. You have
Oysters actually only account for served in a raw on the half shell.
Yeah.
Or some broiled versions.
Yeah.
We do some dressed oysters as specials. That's about it.
Yeah.
Right. The menu has
It's just the name.
The regular menu, in addition to the ever rotating specials menu, probably is around 30 things.
Yeah.
So there's other raw items. We have clams, like you said, the shrimp. We have
tuna.
We do a lot of crudos, and that's changing constantly. A lot of cooked fish as well. Like we've been throwing a lot more stuff in our oven, on our flat top as well. Like this beautiful swordfish dish that we've been doing lately.
Yeah.
We do this great seared scallop dish. We've been doing steamed mussels, steamed clams. And then all the pinchos and tapas and bistro influence too, like chicken liver mousse and various toasts and a lot of conservatives and tin fish. We have a great relationship with D'Espana, the premier importer of Spanish goods, which we get our chorizo from.
Okay.
Which we roast that as well. That's a really hearty dish. So there's plenty of food on the menu for the people who go, oh, my husband doesn't like oysters, or I'm the only one of my friends who likes oysters.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't like oysters, but I love the vibe here.
And
by the
also, and also plenty of vegetables. Like this week, I'm gonna have a beet salad. We're gonna have a salad. It's not vegetarian. This other salad, but it's dressed in an anchovy vinaigrette, so it feels more like a Caesar salad.
Yeah.
But and then once the weather turns, more and more we get into some really great local produce.
Yes.
So try to do as much as we can. For those kinds of items, like it's very hard. The latitude we have in the kitchen is not great. So you have to be really careful what you put on the menu because it needs to be a pretty quick pickup.
Yep.
The least amount of steps and components as possible in order for it to actually be a thing that would be worth executing during service. Otherwise, it's going to it'll ruin service because it's too many moving parts. In our really small space. So I try very hard to create a menu that reflects that. But I like the space itself, the physical space.
Yep.
Intentionally building it this way. I love the idea of boxing myself into a corner.
Yes.
Because then it forces you to be more creative.
Okay.
With the limited resources that you have.
Sure.
So when you read our menu, what you read on that menu per item is exactly what's in that dish.
Yep.
So some things are 3, like we do this broiled langoustine dish. These really nice langoustines from New Zealand. It's broiled langoustines with a compound butter and lemon. That's it. That's it.
And that's it.
That's all it is, right? So that's 3 things: butter, lemon, and the langoustines. Try to design a menu like that, and just having really great relationships with vendors who have exceptional product. That you trust. Like my main seafood vendor, I've been using him from day one when I first served the oysters back at the Porch Fest thing.
Yeah.
So we've been together now 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years plus. You develop a relationship And you can rely on that person to tell you the truth, to give you good pricing, to have that kind of communication.
Yeah.
And that reflects in what you get here as the customer. Like, you're going to feel that on the plate,
yes.
so to speak, right? That's what I'm trying to say. One of my other vendors, I've been using him since my Calexico days, primarily like pantry goods and like paper goods and things like that. So that's another aspect of operating a business where it's just relationships.
Of course.
With it's relationships with your staff, relationships with your vendors, relationships with with your landlord, with your neighbors. And so it's about creating. It's the experience of the customer at the table is just like one part of it. So all these other things that go into it.
So going as we're like in, we're sort of now drifting into 26, right? So what is your hope? What is your hope and like what is your goal ahead?
Well, goal is to, you have to constantly look forward and be positive.
Yeah.
It's hard when you're in this winter that feels never ending.
The groundhog said 6 more weeks, hopefully.
I know. It's just, I think that if you continue to do what you do and not compromise, that sends a really strong message to people. There's confidence there, right? Like from the business. Hopefully, the weather will break in the early spring. We can have our patio back open.
Yes.
Which we really love. That became a huge bump for us.
It was very cute.
Once we opened that up, we're inside here. It's a very tight 32 seats indoor. Outside, we add another 24 seats.
Yes.
So like this restaurant, the physical footprint is less than 800 square feet.
Yeah.
So including outside though, when we have the 24 seats, so we're talking about 56 seat restaurant for 800 square foot space. We're really looking forward to that, but we got to just make sure that people continue to come before the patio is open.
Yeah.
Knowing that like we were joking before, like, hey, it's snowing outside, but it's not snowing inside.
No, it's warm in here.
It's not raining inside. It's raining outside, but it's not raining inside the restaurant. So please, make sure that you come out, even though there might be forces at play that are giving you excuses to not come out.
Yes.
We continue to do what we do and evolve and grow the menu and constantly change the specials, which keeps people very interested. The specials menu really drives in a lot of people. A lot of very high engagement on like social media.
Yeah.
And we see people coming all the time just because they saw like the post about like the toro tartare or the langoustines or whatever it is. So that's really rewarding and gratifying. Yeah, I mean, does that answer?
Well, all I could say is, Matt, I am a huge fan. I have been a fan since I came here, when you first opened. I think it's an amazing concept. I keep saying it's an amazing vibe in here. You are so nice.
Thank you.
And I know that you are going to be a huge success for many, many years.
Thank you.
Perla to the moon.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming
Thanks
on.
For having
I appreciate it.
This was amazing.
And for everyone that's listening, come to Perla, give it a try. You will love it. You'll love Matt, and you're going to love the vibe. I think we sold it.
Can we 415 Boyden Avenue, Maplewood, New Jersey?
I'm listing it all. Don't you worry. Trust me. I am a promoter.
Eat Perla is
that's
the
it.
Instagram. Okay.
Thank you
Great.
so much,
Thanks,
Matt.
Heidi.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.